study,
and play come together on a Windows 11 PC.
And for a limited time, college students get
the best of both worlds.
Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
This is what everyone's talking about.
Everything's on the table.
This is what champions come to take. This is what everyone came to see.
And the slam!
No do-overs. No second chances. No more Mr. Nice Guy. This is winner take all. The NBA Finals continue on ABC and the ESPN app.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
What's up, everybody? This is Mark Tremonti, and you're listening to Jay Scott on Hook Rocks.
Again, can you hear me singing? It's a revolution. I got lost in the devil's game, a self-loving age it seems. We get lost in nothing. We're the revolution. See what you're being fed.
Welcome back to the Hook Rocks. I'm your host, Jay Scott. Thanks for tuning in once again. I appreciate it. Always a pleasure to have you listen. Thank you very much for the support and the reviews. If you haven't done so and you like what you're hearing, please give us a shout out or a review on any platform that you do listen to. Once again, we are part of the Pantheon Podcast Network, a great network of music-related podcasts. We've got something for everyone, all music genres, all types of music interest on the platform. I always mention my friends whenever I start off, like Martin Popoff, the rock historian, Mistress Carrie, the legendary DJ out in Boston, Carmen Apiece and Vinny Appice on the Hangin' and Bangin' podcast, Tom and Zeus on the #1 rated Kiss podcast, Shout Out Loudcast, as well as Decibel Geek. Chris and Aaron do a great job on Decibel Geek, and Mac on the Ugly American Werewolf in London podcast overseas. He's the United States transplant carrying the rock and roll flag over in the UK. So go check out all of those podcasts. Don't forget to follow Pantheon wherever you do your social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And don't forget to follow the Hook Rocks wherever you do podcasts. And don't forget to check out our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter page. Just search up the Hook Rocks. We're on every platform, so set your app to automatic download so you get the latest episode right to your phone. We've had some great episodes lately. We just did a collaborative episode with Guernica and Nick Reese from Joyous Wolf and Guernica Mancini from Thunder Mother. That was a great episode. Some other great new music spotlights include Stone Broken, Band Inc., Fast Eddie, and Native Sons. So check them out. And some great interviews lately, like with Joe Satriani, Mark Tremonti, and Scott Gorham from Thin Lizzy. And don't forget to check out our live album review of Kiss Alive. And we welcome back Rob at Skylab Tapes talking how to set your house up with good acoustics with your stereo system. So enjoy that episode as well. We've got a great new music spotlight lined up for you today. I'd like to welcome in Terry and Tim from the band Deepfall. What's going on, guys? How are you?
Hey, how are you, man? Thanks for having us. Doing well.
Well, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. Another great band to showcase here on the New Music Spotlight. It's really kind of what we're all about. So thank you very much for joining us. We're going to get into the band and we're going to get into what you guys are about. But first, we always ask the same first question we do to every first-time guest, and that is kind of what we're all about here. Just like every rock song has a hook that pulls you in, every rock fan has a moment, whether it's a song, an album, a band, or performance that hooked them on rock and roll. What was it for you?
Well, for me, it was Michael Jackson when I was 5 years old. So
hey, that's honest. I appreciate the honesty.
My mom told me when I saw Michael Jackson on TV, I stopped in my tracks and started emulating and doing all that. And I was a huge Michael Jackson fan as a kid. So that's my answer. Tim, what you got?
I mean, my oldest rock and roll memories these days is some Bruce Springsteen way back in the day, honestly. I remember my parents jamming to that and thinking this is some good stuff.
Where did it go from there, for you guys? I mean, obviously, Michael Jackson, Bruce Springsteen were big, huge presences in the 80s, with big albums like Thriller and Born in the USA. But when did the hard rock, moment come for you guys?
Well, for me, it was probably, I guess, middle school, high school. I was a huge Lenny Kravitz fan when I was in 8th grade. I got made fun of for it, actually. It was kind of funny. And then in high school, like 9th, 10th grade, started getting into Metallica because I was able to go to buddies' houses that were allowed to listen to that kind of music. Grew up in kind of a strict household, so I wasn't able to listen to all that stuff. But as I started going to friends' house and hearing those kind of records, I ended up accumulating some Metallica, Pink Floyd, The Doors. I was really into that in middle school, high school. Some Lenny. I like Stevie Wonder a lot. I like a lot of different things, but rock, middle school, high school, 8th, 9th grade, Metallica, Pink Floyd were my first two big ones.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the same story for me. I was, we were the opposite of you, Terry. We were more out in the wild doing whatever we wanted in the garage all the time, and a couple of us had guitars, and we'd always at least think we were playing some Metallica. It's probably just random noise that was actually coming out, but we at least gave it a shot.
As far as your journey and as it continued, when was the moment that you guys wanted to get on stage? Was there a performance? Was there a band that you wanted to, emulate what you saw on stage at a concert or something similar to that?
For me, it was, again, just watching entertainers growing up. Like when there was music on TV, it was neat. So like in the olden days, you watch the Grammys, they had live performers, but I remember seeing Michael Jackson on stage at the Grammys, and I was just like, holy cow, I want to be up there someday. That's definitely, I miss that stuff, Where's live music on TV now? It's pretty rare. It's different.
It is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
How did the band start for you guys? Like, how did you guys begin your collaboration? How did you guys come together?
So for me, I just joined, it was about October-ish last year. Deepfall had a whole previous singer and a whole previous thing that they were doing before me. So Tim would have to kind of fill in the details previously. I know they toured with Alter Bridge and they released an EP. And they did some touring, and then obviously with COVID, and then other things happened, and people changed and had to go their different ways. And I ended up joining the October-ish, and then we went and recorded our EP, which will be Revolution. We self-titled, and we will be releasing that stuff hopefully in the end of summer here. The rest of it.
So the very beginnings of Deepfall goes back to a bunch of guys pretending to be band practice, but just sitting around in the garage drinking all night.
Hell yeah.
And that goes back close to a decade. And then there was different versions, different people. And then back in about 2016, 2017, started trying to get a little more serious about it and put some stuff down in the studio. And just in the last couple of years, 2019 was when first touring started. Did the short run with Texas Hippie and Hell Yeah, Nonpoint, and a little stint with Seven Dust. And then 2020, we hit the road with Alter Bridge in February and had a bunch of other stuff planned. And of course, COVID happened and there was no more anything. And as that started to lift and we started getting things going again, that's when we got Terry on board here and started going at it again.
Now, did you guys record any music during those early parts, or with the song Revolution, is that your first official release?
There's definitely some older music out there. from before this era. We had I think 4 or 5 different singles that were released out there.
And this new song, Revolution, that is out now, fantastic song. What was the inspiration? How was the collaborative process with this music, with this song?
Well, me and T.O., Tim Ossenfort's our guitar player. So kind of a song started with just like a little riff. And then I'm kind of I'm an overthinker. So I heard this riff and I started going off on technology and started writing some parts, but it's just it's really based about that stuff. It's about technology and where it's going, and when do we start asking questions? Like, there's probably a point where there's too much of it. So that's kind of what that song's about.
Clearly.
Okay. Yeah.
Clearly too dependent on it right now.
Very, very dependent. But as far as your writing goes and putting songs together, what is that process for you guys?
Well, with technology, again, it's sent in parts now because it's not like getting in a room with your buddies like it used to be, you know. Nowadays, it seems like it's easier to send files and songs and kind of write and then add to them and then get to the point where you want to really work them up. You'll have somebody who all get together and do it that way. That's kind of what we've done. This, just for me, it's been a little bit kind of like that because when I first started this, we already had scheduled studio time. So there was kind of a time crunch. So that was how we did that. But I think it's kind of depends on how you want to approach it too. But that was that process for the first EP. But I think there'll be more in-room jamming for the second one, hopefully. But there'll still be the file sharing and things like that too. It's kind of, you know, if you have one that goes, you'll write it pretty quick usually. So.
How different is it for you guys in terms of the dynamic of writing face to face rather than sharing things remotely?
Coming from the technology side, it's kind of normal for me. But I know for most everybody else, it's like, you know, songs used to come from 2-hour random sessions of just playing things until something sounded cool to someone. And then nowadays it's like, we're just trying to like, all right, well, here's a skeleton. Can we work with this? Can you build on this or not? And it's just like Terry was saying, a lot of the back and forth stuff.
How did you guys, or what influenced you to actually start writing music, whether it's lyrics, whether it's songs? I mean, there is that evolution of the artist that I speak about a lot. It's that first moment that grabbed you with music. It's that first moment that grabbed you with rock and roll, wanting to be on stage, wanting to be in a band. But then there comes a point where you want to write. Did a song inspire you guys, or was there a moment where, hey, instead of just playing tunes that I know, I want to write a riff that comes from me or a lyric that comes from me?
So for me, it goes back to late 90s. Actually, a buddy of mine from high school ended up at his place one day and, learned that his dad was a keyboardist on the road with Eddie Money back in the late 80s. And he had a home studio going and just started, messing around there and jamming with him and listening to a lot of his original stuff. And that's kind of where my inspiration started to want to work on my own stuff as well.
Yeah, for me, my mom got me into like voice lessons, and I did plays when I was younger and things like that. My grandma played the organ. So I was always fascinated by sounds. So for me, I remember hearing again, like bands like Pink Floyd, where you hear sounds never heard before when you're young. They really stick out. And usually those kind of things inspire me to write lyrics. But that's kind of where it all started, to write songs and starting to hear all these cool things that you can kind of make a puzzle out of, And so it was just hearing my grandmother, and I started writing songs. My mom told me when I was like middle school, because you're in plays and you're starting to be creative with drama class and all those things. So I started doing that stuff about that time.
You mentioned the song Revolution, which is the first single that you guys have put out for this EP, about the reliance on technology in the current day that we live in. It's an observation that you wrote about. Is that where you primarily get your inspiration for lyrics?
Sometimes we have another song that's called Phantom, which I wrote about passing away and overlooking my family as I was gone. And just depends, man. Songs can come from all sorts of different things, Just depends. But the technology thing's been, frustrating. I like to read, and I followed Elon Musk and the Joe Rogan stuff and AI and Vance. And Tim's a huge computer dude. So, you know, you just kind of see the writing on the wall with things and where they're going. And, you know, it's just things that's been talked about a lot. And that song, you know, you can't really go anywhere without having a phone on you, or it's just ridiculous. You know, you can't eat with people anymore. You can't do anything without a phone being present.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. You know, it gives you access to information, you know, on the spot, you know, within seconds, but it also takes away your attention from things that are important and in the interaction, the social interaction as well. You know, being face to face with somebody, having dinner, talking with them, you know, without looking down at your phone. It's become like we're a slave to the technology.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that probably ends well in 25, 35 years. If people don't want to talk to one another anymore, it's probably not good.
Well, what's that one Disney Pixar movie, WALL-E?
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah. Well, that's not a movie. That's a documentary.
That's a documentary
of what we're becoming. You know, I mean,
for real. It's true.
When you think of like people becoming, you know, overweight because of less activity, because they're on their phones and technology, they're not talking to anybody, they're looking at a screen. I mean, it's happening right before us.
That's me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a lot of us. It's a lot of us. Trust me. Yeah. It's just, you know, it's an amazing, like with anything, right? You know, you get a taste of something, you want more. And, you know, technology makes it so easy for certain things. But, yeah, I was mentioned Facebook, for instance. No one goes to high school reunions anymore because everybody knows what's going on with each other. We don't need to go anymore because we see everybody post about what's happening in their lives. There's those conversations don't happen anymore.
Yeah, so you're right.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things.
And now you know too much about people. I don't need to know what you're eating for lunch and dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the people that take the pictures of all their food of every meal. I have somebody that does that. I'm like, dude, take it easy.
I only
people don't need to know that. We don't need to know all of it.
I only take. I don't post it on social media, but I do take pictures of something I eat if it's really damn good.
Right. Or if it's a memory, like if I'm someplace cool, like I've never been before, I might do that. Like, oh, this is a memory of shit I'll never eat again. You know what I mean?
Is it important for you guys to play and write about social issues and current topics that are happening or observations of where you feel society is going?
I do. I don't know. Tim, you want to take this one?
Well, I mean, you're the primary lyricist here, so I figured I'd leave it to you.
I think there's a responsibility in music to do some of that stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I like to write about stuff like that matters, you know. I think it's important. I think it's important to write in a way where people can kind of interpret it how they want, but putting stuff out there for people to think about, I think it's important. I like it. There's stuff going on in the world that we shouldn't be shy from it. We should discuss it because that's how things get resolved. It's conversations like this. Nobody talks. Nothing good's going to come of it. So
as far as matching the music with the lyrics, what usually comes first? The music, the lyrics? Is it a mix?
It's a mix for sure. Yeah. For me,
it's a mix for sure, but definitely coming from the music side, like there are certain elements of things that Terry will be speaking about where we'll be like, okay, like we need to catch this vibe. We need to get in this mood, and try and paint the picture of the music behind to match what the lyrics are. And like Terry said, other times he comes at us with a killer hook and melody, and we got to try and figure out how to get music behind it that works.
Is that difficult sometimes for you, or is it just a work in progress and working it out like you're working out a song?
I think it goes both ways, really. But definitely for the most part, it's been trying to, it bounces back and forth constantly. You know, the lyrics change a little and then we got to adjust the music a little. And it's uphill all the way until it finally comes together.
And sometimes there's songs that you hate because you can't figure them out. And I had one of those that's on this EP. I smited this song. I did not like it at all. It ended up being one of my favorites at the end. And that's sometimes weird how it works. But, you know, sometimes songs can be frustrating. You know, it's like something you can't figure out. And sometimes you have to set them aside for a while and come back to it. You know, like sometimes my wife and I get in an argument and I got to get away from her for a while. You know what I mean? Come back to her. She's nicer. So it's like that with a song.
As far as writing that music, as far as writing songs and staying connected to it, right? You mentioned the pandemic where you kind of went your separate ways for a bit because that's what people did, and come back. If there was music that was recorded before, how do you stay in front of it? How do you stay connected to that music?
In that instance, we actually didn't. We ended up basically starting over in late September of 21, and then took those to the studio in November of 21. So we started from scratch, really the end of August, early September. We pretty much started from scratch with this EP.
And then when you guys did come back and scrapping everything and starting over, what differences did you feel had taken over in the band?
Well, I mean, major difference at that point was this was actually our first run with Terry. So, we had a new singer and a whole new style of music ended up developing out of that in a way.
And coming together and creating music, with everything that's happened in the world over the last few years, for you guys, even though you were in maybe separate entities and making music, how different did you feel? Did you feel that these circumstances that have become our reality changed the tone of your music, changed the direction of your music?
I think changed a little bit of everything forever. Personally, I don't know. I think that pre all of the COVID stuff and post, we live in a different world, really. You know what I mean? So I think the writing process, like all of that stuff, isn't going to change, but the content is forever, probably to a degree. You know what I mean? A little bit. I think there's going to be. You can hear the songs that have been coming out now, like the Shine Down song that just came out, the 3 Days Grace tune that just came out. Those are COVID songs, really. So you can kind of see that stuff. With some of this, like Zombified is another one that I heard that kind of speaks to that. We could throw Revolution in there now. Just that type of song that's, it's technology. It's the whole pandemic stuff. It's how people feel about the world we live in now compared to pre-COVID. There's a lot of changes and weird stuff. We're like, oh, this is a thing. You can do this. This can happen. I know I did. So like all of our shipping can just shut down and like a year and you can't get anything. Like, holy crap. It makes you reevaluate things. How about that?
It does, and I've heard that from a lot of musicians who recorded music. Some musicians and some artists took that moment in time and just went into a bubble and just didn't watch the news, just kind of went in their safe zone with their music, right? And some of that stuff may not be COVID related or anything because they just wanted to escape it all. However, there are some artists that really kind of dove deep and dug in with what was happening, whether it was COVID, whether it was, the toxic election process we went through, whether it was the protests, whatever it was affected. They were affected. And it affected the tone of their music. It affected maybe a sharper, darker tone in the melodies, in the lyrics. So it's always interesting to see how people look at that diary entry of time with their music, with their lyrics.
Absolutely.
Tim, how did you feel about that?
I mean, to me, I've always sort of connected more with that style of music, the darker tones, the minor moods and whatnot has always been sort of my thing. And so, I guess I felt like coming home a little bit. It's almost gotten a little easier for me to connect with some of the stuff we're working with.
When did you guys know that you were ready to record this EP? With these songs, were they, did you perform a lot of them? Were they just, writing and just going it back and forth?
No, we did this one backwards. The opportunity presented itself through some connections we made when we were out on the road with Alter Bridge, and ended up getting the studio time booked with Elvis before the songs were written. So when we started this process in September, we had a date that we needed to have material ready to get down there.
My infamous Tim King phone call was, "Hey, Terry, we got a month and a half. I need you to write like a whole bunch of songs." Something like that. I was like, all right, man. So that's what we did.
How was that pressure? I mean, I've talked to, I think it was Joe Satriani in his interview with his last album, said how more relaxed he was than ever before because he didn't have a deadline on an album. How was it to have a deadline? How was that pressure for you guys to make this music?
Personally, I liked it. I mean, I like, having a target to hit and a known next step in the process to know that we're moving forward and getting things done versus just kind of sitting back, waiting for it to happen and seeing when we're ready to move forward. So to me, I kind of liked having that, back against the wall, like, let's get it figured out. And, we wanted to put as much focus on making sure that we were, getting quality material together and everything was still coming from the heart. And we're not just trying to factory crunch out some music just to say we did it. But I liked having the date and something to lean towards.
And as far as what next, you got the new song coming out. When is the EP? When is that going to be released? What's the next song that you guys are going to release?
We don't have exact dates yet. The full EP is done. I've got the vinyl sitting at home. We're kind of just watching the way things are moving right now, working with the radio team as far as, the trajectory of Revolution in radio right now, and just kind of keeping an eye on it as far as figuring out when to pull the trigger on the next single. And we're still actually juggling on exactly which single that'll be too. But this summer, most likely, that's about the best we can give right now.
What's that like for you guys, sitting on this, knowing that you have music that you're proud of, that you want people to hear, and just kind of waiting?
Torture. It's torture.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I use as a word, because it's just like, when you write them and they're like children's songs and you've heard them and you're ready, you still got them and you can't tell anybody, you just got to sit there like, it can be a frustrating thing, but it's cool. It's also cool at the same time, but yeah.
Does it help you guys in that, you know what you have, you're confident what you have, and rather than just throwing it out there and hope people listen, you can kind of pick the right time, or you can line up things, whether it's a tour with somebody. Does that help the situation?
For me, it does. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're dealing with guidance from some guys that have been doing this for a long time and, just trying to do what's best for the music and for us, and to just try and keep the whole project moving forward as a whole. And, to that, they say, don't throw all your money out at once.
As far as that goes, in terms of making this music and making this EP, and then, having people kind of tell you or give you advice on when this should be released, was this everything you thought it would be on making a record? Or is there's way more involved behind the scenes, or way more stuff that you maybe didn't think of?
There's definitely a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we're still learning about every day.
Yeah, I always think, you get most of it, like a good chunk of it you understand, but there's always things that are going to come up where you don't quite understand, and everything changes so fast, especially nowadays. So it's just, you got to kind of Tai Chi and take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, you're always going to learn stuff doing this, no matter what, I think, forever.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're in a band, and, the music you guys grew up with, those artists didn't have to think of algorithms. They didn't have to think of social media platforms. They didn't have to think of all that stuff. And it's got to be frustrating for a band. And I've talked to many about this, is that you have dreams of making music and being on stage, playing guitar, singing a song. You're not a social media guru, right? You're not like a Twitter expert or whatever, but you have to become one, or you have to find a team that is like that. And then that's another additional cost. You got to learn the algorithms that help you get your song in front of more people. It's like this whole other side that years ago people didn't have to deal with. It was more or less, stapling a flyer on a telephone pole, walking up and down the street and promoting your show that you were going to play at the local venue. And like we talked about, to kind of circle back with the technology aspect of it, there's a lot that's beneficial to it, but there's a lot of extra stress involved too as well.
Absolutely. And what we've learned is do not pick on the nerds in school. Be nice to them. Okay? You're going to need them.
It's very
I'm
true.
Just saying. Give them hugs. Be friends. Be nice.
And you owe me some hugs, Terry.
I do. I make fun of him a lot. He's our wizard. So Tim is a very intelligent dude, and he knows how to do all of that kind of stuff. And I'm more of a sit in the sidelines and root for him and drink a beer. You know what I mean? But he's well,
it's
it's the truth.
But it is. I mean, it's helpful to have someone in a band that kind of is familiar with that stuff and knows that stuff. But I mean, you have bands that are not, and they're trying to figure this out on the fly.
I can't imagine.
It's just and the algorithm changes every day or every week, and even the attention span of the listener is so short now. So you have to keep feeding the beast. You got to keep feeding that audience that, you release a song on Friday. By Monday, they don't care anymore, right? They're on something else.
It's really weird because it's like that in life. People in general do not have patience. I swear, like they used to.
No, they don't.
It's everybody's just wants instant results with everything. It's weird. Absolutely.
How does it affect, you guys when you're writing music and, determining when to put stuff out? I mean, the bands more and more are putting out 2-3 EPs a year. They're putting out 2-3 singles over a span of time, and then just to keep in front of an audience constantly, because you rely more on that touring dollar than you do on the sale of a stream or a record. Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's exactly the kind of, guidance and path that we've been put on is you don't go record an album and put 12 songs on it and throw it out there. It just doesn't work because, like you said, the attention span of that listener, they're going to get 30 seconds into the first track and that whole album is going to go on the shelf. So it's more of a constant process for us now of always writing the next thing and always working on having something else ready to go in the upcoming months.
I still wish people like the physical copy because it's still digital.
Me too.
CDs are still digital. It's still probably better sound quality because the compression rate is probably better on a CD than it is on a streaming service. So it's better in that regard. And plus, I know brand new cars don't have CD players in it, so that really does impact the sale of that stuff. But I had to buy a car 2 years ago, and I was looking at the new cars, and I asked the sales rep, I'm like, "Where's the CD player?" "Oh, they don't put them in there anymore." I'm like, "Well, what do you got on the lot that's got a CD player?" Because I still listen to my CDs. So I ended up buying at the time a 3-year-old car because it had a CD player in it. Because what the hell am I going to do with my music?
That's right. I miss the artwork.
Yeah, the artwork is so important. But how does that really, with you guys who kind of grew up in an older generation who's now making music for a new generation, how hard is it for you guys to adapt to that?
I mean, in one aspect, it's kind of neat that that vinyl has made a comeback, and we got to actually print vinyl on this latest release. But it kind of, it's different in a lot of ways because now, instead of having album art, you actually kind of need a piece of artwork to go with every single song, for the online release and stuff. So there's more work involved and more thought into putting that together. But then, when it comes to the physical sales, we just did a 3-week tour and had no physical media with us. It was just, it didn't seem like it was a good idea.
I always say for a band, what I think would increase the sale of the physical copy is have tour-only CDs in vinyl that you can only get at the show. They have like special editions and all that kind of stuff, because then it would make people. I would go just to buy the special edition.
That's good, yeah.
Like you've got a CD that says, a cover for only this 3-week tour. And then the next 3-week tour, you just got a different cover or whatever. So it kind of makes it more attractive to buy, whether it's a vinyl or a CD, because I know I love the physical copy. And if I know if an album's got 5 different covers, I'm going to buy probably all 5 of those different covers because I'm so into that kind of stuff. And music, physical copies of music has become sort of like a memorabilia, like a collector's item. So maybe not, and then when you're done with the tour and you've got some stuff left over, you dump it on your website and sell it on there, but I know I would show up 2 hours early at a show if I knew there were only 10 CDs being sold or 20 CDs being sold at a show. So it kind of creates a buzz.
Better get on that, Tim.
Store that. I like it.
Store that.
And
see, you're learning every day.
Every day. Well, I mean, it's like the one show where we were at, I think we were in Philadelphia, and the guy that works with the Alter Bridge management team was there. And he kept like looking at me weird. And finally, Chris, their merch guy, walked over, and this was on the 7 Dust tour. And he's like, "Where'd you get that shirt?" I was wearing an Alter Bridge shirt. And I'm like, "I'm pretty sure it was Spokane, Washington." They're like, "Oh, yeah. And it was at that moment that I realized that on that tour we did with them, they actually had a different shirt every night. So there was some significance in like some stars or some portion of the design that would tell them which show that shirt was. So even though the overall design of the shirt is kind of the same, it was unique to that particular show.
I think people now are more interested in the experience and then the uniqueness of that experience. And if they can have something to take from that unique experience, they're even more apt to buy it. If it's just the same thing and you could get that anywhere, some people may buy it, but if you got a T-shirt, like you said, that's only sold at that show, or if you got a CD that's only sold on the 3-week run that you guys just did, they know that that's not going to be around forever. There's only a limited edition of that stuff. They're going to buy it. That's just how people think now.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Makes sense. It's a competition.
It is, it totally is, and it's also a great way to bring in revenue for a band, because let's face it, for new bands, you're fighting for every dollar, because you're not making money off streams. You're not making, some clubs will take a percentage of the merch you sell, which I think is absolute BS.
It's nuts.
Yeah. So you got to find creative ways to do it. And the uniqueness is where it's at, I believe, especially for newer bands and heck, legacy bands too, like Alter Bridge. You guys got anything coming up here soon? Any more dates to share with your audience?
The only thing happening right now is a music festival here at home that a buddy of ours puts on. It's 4th of July weekend. We'll be out there on Sunday night closing out the festival.
Yep. Smiling Acres.
It's actually where I'm standing right now. Stage is over there somewhere.
Nice. What after the festival, you guys are going to wait for the release then to do some dates and do some tour?
Yep. Waiting for more tour ops to come along and the release dates. And really right now we're focused on trying to get that next batch together.
Yeah, we're focused on writing right now. There'll be more shows probably into summer, beginning of fall. Probably makes sense.
Well, Terry, Tim, it's been a blast getting to know more about you guys. I love the song Revolution. Looking forward to more. Hopefully it's soon. And I'm in Chicago, so hopefully you guys make it down here too as well from Michigan.
Oh, yeah. I'll buy a beer sometime. It'll be fun.
Absolutely. Buy me 2.
All right, 2. Now you're getting crazy, man. We just talked about musicians' salaries. Now he wants 2 beers.
I'll take care of the tab.
All right. Well, I appreciate you having us, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
well, thank you. I appreciate it. That's Terry and Tim from the band Deepfall. I'm Jay Scott. This is The Hook Rocks, the Ultimate Rock Community Podcast. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy. Talk to you soon. Thanks.
Again, can you hear me singing? It's a revolution. I got lost in the devil's game.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.